atoms, we were like, what's the use of that?
Right.
So do your spiel about that.
Well,
do your hunk.
Well,
do your hunk.
You want me to go there?
I want you to go there.
Okay, so...
And I'm admitting, you know, I changed my mind, as scientists do. New evidence.
I'm honored and flattered that I could bring you to a new place, intellectually.
But now that you wore that vest, I'm rethinking my position.
So here's a good example. In 1917, Albert Einstein.
My hand.
Publishes a paper called "On the Stimulated Emission of Radiation."
Ooh.
An obscure paper with an odd, complex derivation. At the time, he is not thinking, nobody is thinking, lasers. But that is the intellectual foundation of the laser. He's not thinking barcodes or anything else or LASIK surgery. Nobody is thinking that, but it is an intellectual frontier on how matter behaves on its smallest scales. And if you were around back then, say, why are you wasting your time? You can't even see atoms. Do something productive, like, you know, to stop the First World War from unfolding, all right? And so you can't get in the way of research that is going to new places, because you never know how that will come back with us. What other point? Just in the next decade. I'll go fast. In the 1920s.
You've made your spiel.
This is even better. In the 1920s, people were further probing the atom, and they discovered quantum physics. It would take 4 or 5 decades, but in the 60s and 70s, quantum physics would become the foundation for the information technology revolution. And by some measures, the IT revolution is responsible for 1/3 of the GDP of the world. And so, but if you were around back then, you would say, what do you care about?
And then what would we take pictures of our food with? All right. So, one more thing about Mars.
Check this out, guys.
Fascinating that maybe life on Earth is because it was seeded from Mars.
Yeah.
Because like an asteroid or something.
So all evidence tells us that Mars was sort of wet and fertile. I was going to say moist, but I said no, I just said wet.
If you talk like that with that vest, you will charm the ladies tonight.
Mars was wet and fertile before Earth was. And computer simulations tell us that in the early solar system, there was heavy bombardment because the planets were still forming from all the debris that was left over from when the largest bodies had taken shape. And so if you have a large impact on the surface, it can fling surrounding rocks into space. And if they have nooks and crannies on those rocks that contain microbes, then you have interplanetary microbes. Not all of them will survive. Most will die. But those that do survive will be the ones that have resistance to radiation, high temperature, low temperature. They can be freeze-dried.
The tardigrades.
Exactly.
Well, you know, I like it. Yeah. And by the way,
the tardigrade, the water bear.
Yeah, now I learned about it on Cosmos on your show.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do we have a picture of the tardigrade or a video?
Oh, there you go.
And
that's
I know
the coolest, funkiest thing.
It is the ugliest thing. I mean, and this is not microscopic. You can actually. It's tiny.
To get the detail, you need the microscope.
Right, but it's not. It's tiny.
It's otherwise called a water bear. It survives
everywhere.
Everywhere. You can't kill the thing with any normal way that you would kill every other life form. And so there is no
like what? Super cold, super hot, like no oxygen.
Here's the best one. You could dry it out.
This guy is so excited.
Like a suspended animation. Add water later, and it'll come back to life. And so these are the kinds.
So roaches have nothing on this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's no known reason why any life form on Earth should have that kind of resistance.
Right.
Because there's no drivers of natural selection that would give you that. But we do know something that does, and that is an interplanetary stowaway trip of microbes from Mars to Earth. So it may be that all life on Earth was seeded by Martian life.
Unbelievable. Now
it's called panspermia.
You're going to have to convince Dr. Ben Carson of this.